Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing amazing today. It's been a while since I've shot a YouTube video or a Facebook Live or anything like that. This video is going to be more about my journey, my purpose, my story, because I'm sure you probably want to know more about me and what's going on. So where do I start? I mean, about 6 months ago, my wife got really ill. And so for me, it was quite emotionally challenging. So I myself, if you probably don't know me, I'm really into my psychology and positive psychology and helping myself and other people to be able to transform how we feel, turning our negative emotions to positive emotions. And so for me, I've used a variety of different techniques, NLP, and some of the stuff that I've learned from emotional freedom technique, which is something else is really good, by the way. If you haven't tried that and you're going through sort of the negative emotions and going through some really tough times in your life, then EFT really does help. So I really recommend that you use that. So anyway, back to my story. So my wife hasn't been feeling that well, and so it really took an impact on me emotionally. I didn't know how to deal with this because I've been using all these techniques on myself to really get myself out of a negative state of anxiety and distress and stress, to get myself into positivity whilst all this was going on. And no matter what technique I had used to turn these negative emotions into positive, it still wasn't working for me. It still wasn't working. And so I just didn't know what to do with myself, and I was trying to figure out what was going on and how I could overcome this struggle. And so I really started pondering onto the purpose of my own life and why I was going through these different emotional battles and these struggles and these challenges and these adversities. And I didn't know where to go, and so that's what led me to my purpose in life. I wanted to figure out why I was put here on this earth and why I was going through these things. And so the biggest bit of research that I did was into the ego. The ego has been a massive part of my own life and where I was going and how I was heading, and bringing meaning. And this is the biggest thing, bringing meaning and purpose to my life, because that ultimately was going to give me happiness, that was going to give me contentment, all the things that I could really want in my life. So it was by accident that I pondered upon this thing called the ego, and I was thinking, what's ego got to do with all this? And so it happened that I met a librarian who's very knowledgeable, and I just got into this path of spirituality, and it's really awesome. And the ego, the biggest learning for me is the ego. And so let me go into this more. The ego essentially is ourself, the way we identify ourselves. The identification that we create for ourselves. I mean, the self essentially is who we think we are against who we actually are. So in my faith, and again, this really helped me to come to terms with my own life and my own existence. In my faith, it talks about how everything starts from fitra. And fitra essentially is how all the souls were gathered together. Essentially, we were made witness to say that God is the one. And so when we come into life, from a very young age, we start to develop this identity, this sense of self. Okay, and then as we get older, we start to develop these likes and these dislikes, these hates and these passions, if you like, and that becomes a part of the ego. It becomes a part of self. And often what we do is we take these passions and we take these things and we make it into us. Okay, and so we grow up and we think these things, and it could be our career, it could be our relationship, it could be our health. We think those things are us, and we think that the more we get more of those things, the more happier that we will be. And so we live our life according to this illusion of what we think life is and what life is about. And so when I started to unravel a lot of this, it made a huge difference to my life. Especially this self-esteem, because I've always been into self-esteem and how I can improve my confidence. But self-esteem is a thing where we either think negatively of ourselves, or we can think really positively about ourselves. And either of these too much of one of the negative and too much of the positive can either create arrogance, and too much of negative can essentially means that we destroy ourselves, and that too is a part of the ego. So there's 3 books that I want to recommend that's really completely transformed the way I see myself. And again, I'm still on this journey, but these 3 books have really helped, and I really highly recommend that you read these books. So number 1 was The Day and Night of the Sufi, if I can say it properly, The Day and Night of the Sufi Path. And that was amazing. It really transformed the way I see my life, the way I see myself. And that's number 1. Number 2 has to be Living Presence, The Sufi Art of Mindfulness. Again, this is all the links are going to be below. And the 3rd book, and this one is one of my favorites of all time, and that is a book by Eckard Tolle. You probably, if you've not seen my videos before, you'll always hear myself talking about this book because I really do praise it. Eckard Tolle, The New Earth. This book is so amazing, and it really has transformed my life and the way I see myself and the way I see life forever. So highly recommend that you read those 3 books. So that really led me onto the path of spirituality. My faith is such an important part of me, of who I am and what my life is about, and worshipping the one God. And for me, that's so important. And it's so important for me to be humble, and this is a very big topic in itself. What the other thing that I've learned about is purifying the heart. For me, in my faith, purifying your heart is so important. It's so important that we don't create this shell of who we think we are, rather than allowing all these layers, if you like, of who we think we are against who we actually are. And so we develop things like arrogance and greed and envy, and all these sorts of things can really almost darken the heart, you know. And so I've really learned so much about these different feelings and how these different feelings, the extremes of these feelings, can really create this sense of self. And it's really important to break away the layers in order to purify our heart and be one with who we truly are. And so the ego has been a massive lesson, massive lesson. The other lesson is forgiveness. Forgiveness has been such a massive thing for me, because like you in your life, there's probably been people that have really hurt you in your life. People that have really angered you, and people that have really put you down. And it's so hard to often forget about that. It's really hard to put the past behind you. But again, this comes down to the ego. And so this is what happened for me. I mean, a few months ago, I went to what's called Umrah. Umrah is the lesser pilgrimage, and so hence why I don't have much hair, because that was a part of, again, that was a part of the ego. That's about part of the self-identification. You know, often we have this style that we have, and it almost creates a sense of self. So for me to take all my hair off, it was like, oh my God, I didn't want to let go of this identity of who I was. So that's the wisdom behind shaving your hair off, by the way, if you didn't know. So anyway, past the point. Forgiveness for me was a really hard topic for me to be able to let go of past feelings about the people that hurt me. So I had to really dig deep and forgive the people that have hurt me. And so what I realised was that, again, this is a part of the ego, as I mentioned. What I realised was that it's really important that you ask the forgiveness of these people that have hurt you. Really deeply mean that. And for me, it was in the form of prayer, and that's what I was doing. I was praying to God to forgive those people that have done whatever it is that they've done to me. And secondly, the most important thing I learned about forgiveness is to ask for the success and happiness of those people that hurt you. Now, this might seem very counterintuitive to do this. Why should I do this? This person did that and they did this to me. Why should I ask for their success and happiness? Why? Again, this is what the ego is speaking. Why should I do that? Why should I do that? And so this is something that I learned, but what I learned from my own faith is that if you do this, what happens is that the more you ask for the success and happiness of someone else, the more you get that back. The more you get that back. And so I really meant it from the heart to A, forgive that person for what they did, and B, to ask for the happiness and success. And guess what? It's made such a massive shift, huge shift in my life. When I came back from Umrah, the lesser pilgrimage, these feelings that I had about people who had hurt me, all of a sudden vanished. And I could not understand how. I mean, I've been, studying forgiveness from a psychological point of view for such a long time. And that experience, it just changed. It changed everything. All of a sudden, I just felt this purity in myself, and I can't really describe it. And so that was a massive lesson, asking for forgiveness in a deep way. For me, it's God, and that's what's really allowed me to, as I mentioned, purify my heart. And so, yeah, those are the two massive things that I've learned so far in my journey. And so I've come back with a renewed sense of purpose. And that purpose is for me to continue to be on this spiritual path, and for me to be connected to God. Because that's what my life is about. And all these things, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the biggest thing for me, one of my biggest passions was my career. And I had this real attachment to my career. And in my faith, it talks about how you should let go of these worldly attachments and have them in the palm of your hands rather than hold them in your heart. But I couldn't quite understand how to do that. And so when I learned how to do that, and to learn and to understand the ego, that really allowed me to create this distance. I can still have these goals. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having goals, having a better body, having a really great career, having a great relationship, being better with the money. Whatever your goals are there, I'm all for creating goals. And I think goals are so important in order for you to, again, have happiness and to move forward with your life. But not having that attachment is so important. And so understanding myself, understanding the ego, has really allowed me to create this detachment. And so, yes, my sense of purpose, again, with these videos, what I want to do is I really want to deeply serve you in such a way that videos such as this can really make a profound transformational difference to your life. And so I want to continuously keep providing videos. I'm doing a lot of Instagram and a lot of videos like that, 1-minute videos on a daily basis. And then once in a while, every so often, as much as I can, provide YouTube videos to go more in depth into these different topics. So, yes, I've spoke a lot, I've said a lot, and I hope you can really reflect on the points that I've made. Read some of the books that I've read. There's going to be some of you on here who are expecting this, this motivational, positive video. And if it's not the side of me that you've seen and you're a bit disappointed, well, I'm sorry. I'm not going to change for you. I'm not going to change for anyone else. I'm really all about building authenticity, having an authentic life, being the authentic me. And if some parts of what I say don't resonate with you, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But this is who I am. This is what my life is about. I have this firm purpose and belief in God. And through that, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. So I hope this video has helped you. I hope this video has made you ponder, think and reflect on your own purpose in life, and to be able to move forward and have deep meaning to your life. So please like this video, as I mentioned. Please share this video to anyone that you know. As I mentioned, I'm going to be coming up with more content to be able to help you in your own journey. I'm still a student. I'm no perfect person. I'm really no perfect person. I'm still work in progress. So I'm going to be providing more insights and more learnings, which I hope in essence will allow you to be able to live a more purposeful and more meaningful life. So until then, Lord willing, speak again soon. Take care.